Hey there, I'm Mark with Nashville Aikikai, and we're here for video number 2 of our social media campaign, getting the ASU schools more local visibility. So we're driving potential dojo members into your location, and also growing ASU by connecting the social media sphere, commenting, liking, and discussing and sharing online between all the dojos is going to grow our ASU awareness in our culture exponentially. So those are the 2 goals that we have through this series of videos. This is number 2, and this might be the most important one. Before we get kicked off, though, I want to share with you something we're doing at Nashville Aikikai. We've always understood that people are sometimes intimidated by coming into the dojo. And since we have been working social media for about 1.5 years now, maybe not perfectly, but we've learned a few things. What we've got is we've got an audience locally in our neighborhood and consequently, going out into our city of people who are interested in the dojo. And we've always found that, gosh, they're a little bit intimidated because, going into a dojo the first time, you might think you're going to have to fight or struggle or be uncomfortable. And so what we're going to start doing, and I'll keep you followed up on this, on how it's going, is we're going to start giving video introductory classes, particularly during this time, but I think it's a great idea, maybe for all the time, to get those people who don't really have a good sense of it, they're interested, but they don't actually want to come in. Well, a video introductory class is what we're going to start marketing at Nashville once a week for potential beginners. That way, they're getting comfortable, they're learning about us, they see how we're training, and then they can come into the dojo and get on the mat with us when we're ready to do that again. So just an idea. I'll keep you posted on how that's going, because that may be something you want to start doing right away. So anyway, starting today, you've decided, hey, this is kind of interesting. I think the billboard of our life is social media, and we want to make sure that there are a lot of people passing by our signs and passing by our medias and getting interested in what we're saying and how we're promoting ourselves. So what do we need to do first? The first thing is get your commitment down. I think it's very important to understand it's going to take a year. It takes about a year before you really feel your audience grow and you start feeling like, hey, I've got some successful things going on here. It also takes about a year to start learning how these things fit together and how to use social media. While I'm not going to give you every detail about it, this is really very much like just going out there and doing it. And remember, your first operating system on your first computer, you didn't really know how this worked, but you started clicking on buttons and you started hovering over things and you started seeing different things, and that's how you learned how to do it. Social media is very much like that. It's not hard, but you have to have a commitment. First commitment would be do it for a year. Give it a year so you can be fair to yourself and your dojo to make sure that this is actually helping you. And then the other thing is to make a goal to post at least twice a week. Your post and your content are the engine that drive the audience. So you're growing your audience, you're keeping your audience interested and aware of you. So make that goal to post at least twice a week. You want to do a little bit more actually, but that's a good place to start, and it's very realistic because it's not hard to steal content from other people or create your own content. And that's one thing we're going to be discussing as well. So the first thing you got to do if we're going down this path, select the correct person. Okay, I said you don't have to be tech savvy and you don't have to be scared of this, but there may be someone in the dojo that's really good at this stuff. And it's important, I think, to have one person do it initially so that you can create kind of a look and a brand and a consistent way of looking and presenting your dojo so that people recognize you. This later on becomes the brand that your dojo has. Later on, you can add more people to this, more members to create content, but you're creating kind of that first look, and that's very important. So find that one person, and then going forward, they need to be getting these videos too, because this is how we're going to step by step go through the social media process of getting people into your dojo. The next thing you got to do is you got to assess your current state. So do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook? Do you have an Instagram? Do you have a YouTube? Capture the numbers, the number of viewers, the number of followers that you have. This is important because when you get that year down the road and you've been doing this for a little while, you want to be able to measure if this is actually working for you or not. So this is going to be the measure of your success, but make sure that you have a baseline. That's going to be very important. Once you capture that baseline, then it's time to get started. The next video that we're going to talk about your website, how to make little adjustments to improve on that, how to think about your website, what it's actually doing within the media sphere. I'm going to steal some ideas from some other dojos, ASU dojos in the country that are doing great work in social media. Then the next video is going to be about YouTube. The next video is going to be about Instagram. The next video is going to be about Facebook, and then how all this comes together so that we're really driving awareness and getting people onto the map. So I'm anxious to share all this with you. Please join me for video 3 as we put that out, and I hope everybody's doing really well. Remember, we're going to be getting back on the mat. We don't know when, but it's important that we prepare as much as we can for it and visualize what we want the dojo to be once we get people back onto the mat.